It is always a pleasure to welcome to the program, and we'll get it right this time, from the Uber blog Hullabaloo, the wonderful Digby. Hello, Digby.
Hi, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Oh, well, thank you for putting up. We had a little bit of technical difficulties there, not the least of which, though, I should say that I now really have finally gotten it down after many, many years, being able to pronounce Hullabaloo without hesitation. And I should say, I want to start this off by saying, we've been talking for years, and I have been reading a Hullabaloo. I probably from the day you started, which was almost 10 years ago.
Actually, 11 years ago.
11. Oh God. And you're having a fundraiser over there, and you have always been one of my favorite bloggers, and you do us a tremendous service. And if people have an extra couple of bucks over this season, please head over to Digby's blog. We'll put a link up there to just to support what you're doing. You do a tremendous job, and I wanted to talk a little bit about that because you had a post, and I just leading into this segment, I just covered a story that Daniel Denver reminds us all that the war on Christmas, started at least back in the day of Henry Ford, when it was the Jews who were ruining Christmas. Henry Ford, of course, that was one of his bailiwicks. And but even the John Birch Society. I mean, this is something that's been going on for a long time, and it sort of, in some respects, dovetails with just a piece that you wrote about what you do at Hullabaloo. And I just want to talk about that because you bring up a very good distinction between what people like yourself and people like myself. I include myself in that. People maybe who were not professional members of the pundit class. And when we first started this, we sort of came in as just full on amateurs. But there's an understanding of what goes on in politics that's somewhat different from those in the sort of the Beltway set.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that was one of the great things about the sort of independent blogosphere, independent media that kind of came along over the last decade or so. Some of it, internet-based, and some of it on the radio, in which, we were kind of, like you say, we didn't come at this from the, a professional standpoint where, we went to D.C. and made all the right contacts and, did our internships and did all that. And I'm not putting people down who do that. I mean, that's, if you're going to be a professional political journalist, that's the smart route that you take. But this new, media world opened up new avenues for other kinds of people to start participating, doing civic engagement along this line. And, I think it's been valuable. I mean, I think it's changed the way journalism is done, and I think it continues to change the way journalism is done. I mean, you look at the kind of people like Glenn Greenwald, for instance. There's a good example of a guy who came into the blog. He started off as a blogger and became an author and a journalist through the course, over the course of a decade or so. And, he just does not have the same worldview as people who do journalism, through that normal route. And I think it's valuable. And in fact, it's not just valuable, it's necessary. We have to have this. I mean, you need voices like you who are out there sort of reading things from different sources and seeing it through different eyes. I mean, I think you and I both are aware of the kind of groupthink that happens even among liberals and progressives who live and work in that sort of, political beehive, the New York, D.C. nexus. It's a group of a certain privileged group of people who see the world in a very similar way. And the rest of us have felt kind of left out by that for forever. I just don't think we had a way of communicating other than like writing letters to the editor, which I guess that's fine, but it's hardly the same thing as having an ongoing daily dialogue, which is what we have now on the internet. And those of us who remain independent, I mean, somebody like me, I really do depend on reader donations. I mean, that is what supports me, my own readership. It's not I get some money from advertising and some various other revenue streams that come in. But for the most part, my writing is supported by people who read what I write directly. I think that's a valuable thing. I'm not answering to anybody. There's no corporation that requires me to think twice about whether or not I'm going to offend someone. And I don't depend on a boss. I do this just from I'm my own boss. And you can hate me, and not support me, and that's fine. But those who do like what I write and see some value in it, support me and allow me to continue to do this. I'm way across the country. I'm not. I'm about as far as from D.C. as you can be and still be in America, except Hawaii. So it's. I think that we do something that has brought an additional layer of understanding about our politics to people who care about this stuff.